call. He is witnessing
with his Vcr. Quarterback Kirk Cousins for COVID, missing the biggest game of the season last Sunday. Without him, Minnesota got blown out in Green Bay, knocked out of the playoffs. Unvaccinated Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers ripping a sports reporter as a bum after the journalist said he would not vote for Rodgers as MVP because he's, quote, the biggest jerk in the league. You'll recall that he really misled about his vaccination status, saying he was immunized when he was not vaccinated, later caught COVID. Unvaccinated NBA star Kyrie Irving finally making his season debut on the road with the Nets last night. Brooklyn had benched him because he can't play at home because of New York's vaccine rules.
Joining us now is Carrie Champion. She's a former ESPN anchor and host of the podcast Naked with Carrie Champion. Wow, like a lot of news on the athlete COVID front last night. Kyrie Irving, the Nets won. I don't think they would have won without him against Indiana. But the Novak Djokovic thing, to me, is beyond sports. You have the #1 tennis player in the world, a tournament that sort of wants him to play, but a country that's saying, you know what, no way. This is getting beyond sports to international relations.
Yeah, you all described it and set it up so perfectly, because this is the world that we live in now. And I think I had this conversation, and I've had it several times with some of my colleagues who cover sports. And they're like, you know what, we didn't get into this business to be health reporters, but that is who we are now at this moment in terms of finding out vaccination status. Novak Djokovic, by way of background, you know, I used to work at the Tennis Channel, and I know Novak very well, and I think he is a great human, but he's also been very adamant about being his own person. He's anti the science, and he's talked about that very, very boldly. And so now it appears, while he is there in Australia, tweeting, hey, I'm here, guys, I'm going to play. Happy to see me, reigning champion. The government is like, no, not so fast. Why are you tweeting that you're here and it's okay? Because leading up to the Australian Open, there was so much speculation about whether he will play, because we are under the belief that he does not believe in vaccinations. And the country's what their policies are. I find this fascinating because this is where we are. It's a microcosm of what's happening with athletes. Tennis is unusual, though. Unlike football or basketball, it's not always money for them. Yes, the tournament wants them there, but the country's like, no, not so much. It's not about money. Australia's very strict, as we now know.
For good reason. They put up with a lot of shutdowns, you know. But look, Carrie, when it comes down to it, there's so much drama, but it really comes down to Djokovic not getting vaccinated.
He has talked about it. I mean, anyone who follows tennis knows how he feels. He's most recently had COVID, but he's talked about the vaccination, and he knew that this was required. This medical exemption was required. And the way it looks to the folks in Australia, the citizens there, as well as the government, is that the medical exemption for him appears to them as an example or an excuse for him to play because he's a privileged tennis player. You should see, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this, all over social. I'm watching some of the reports down there in Australia, and they said he thinks he's going to be better than us. Sorry, you're a regular citizen tennis player, and you have to be treated as such. But now it's gotten so out of control because he's protesting the fact that they did not accept his medical exemption. And then now we have different municipalities within that country fighting over whether or not he should be allowed to play. And Serbians, by nature, who were there to support him, came to see him. They're protesting. They're in support. His father is speaking about it. The president of Serbia is now involved. We are really into some uncharted territory. And I think this particular instance with Novak Djokovic, the reigning champion of the Australian Open, will really dictate how, in fact, athletes will choose to talk about whether or not they're vaccinated.
Carrie Champion, it's always great to have you on. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
New Day's special coverage continues right now.